This is about the fact that Joe Biden wants to get reelected. He knows that 53% of people who are under the age of 35 disapprove of him. And this is one of the ways that he wants to get their vote. He wants to buy their vote. This is part of a socialist state. This is part of the state, and Jesse, you're right about the concept of the ideology. Putting these kids through the universities, indoctrinating them, making the universities rich, making the rest of us pay for it. My heart bleeds for the people who actually went out and paid for their loans, who went without things, whose families said, I'm sorry, we can't afford to pay for your loans. Look, my family paid for my education. I'm sure they had better things to do with their money. I didn't have to take out a loan because they paid for it, but they worked hard for their money. This is a giveaway, and it's disgusting.
What about those people?
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and these Fox News idiots give themselves away every time they open their mouths. They tell us clearly that they understand what's going on in the world, and yet they still support the worst of policies. They make up lies and rouse up rage from their audience so that they don't even think through what they're being told.
This is reverse class warfare. It's like, I don't know, you rob the poor to pay the rich. You're going to get a plumber's family to pay off the loan of a graduate school family that's making $250,000 a year. Why should I have to pay, or anybody have to pay for my neighbor's graduate degree? I mean, you know, you're looking across the street, you see your neighbor's daughter, she just backed into your mailbox. She's always been an idiot, and now you have to pay for her to get an advanced degree in Estonian poetry? I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Now they're trying to tell their audience how bad it is that student debt is being forgiven. I mean, this is a policy that actually helps so many people within their own Republican base. There's so many of them who've gone to college, or their kids have gone to college and taken on massive loads of debt. And yet somehow this is still wrong to them.
And you think the Democrats are going to stop at 10 grand? They're not stopping at 10 grand. Next Democrat's going to go 25. Next is going to go 50. It's never going to stop. And then people are just going to keep borrowing and keep going into these schools, because that's what this is about. This is about hooking more students into these universities where they get indoctrinated by the left. That's what this is really about.
But that's where one of these morons gives it away. Jeanine Pirro literally tells her audience that her family paid off her debt for college. Imagine that. She just outright tells you that she had the right support and privilege of having a family that paid for her education, and that everybody else is just receiving handouts. Not everyone is in her situation. Sure, if her family worked hard to pay off her debt, that's nice for her. But not everyone's family can afford to. And what about those college students who don't have family? Those of them with single parents, whose parents are working hard and yet can still barely support themselves. What Miss Pirro is suggesting here is that college is only for people whose families can afford it, which, by the way, are upper middle and wealthy families. Everyone else can go screw themselves, according to her. Never mind the fact that those families only make up a fifth of this nation. If we are to have a fair democracy, it can't just be for a fifth of this nation. That's inequitable. It has to be for everyone. If education is limited only for the wealthy, then that reinforces social issues in America. It creates an even larger wealth gap here in America between the working class and the ultra-rich. And that's not to mention that so many people will benefit from this regardless of wealth status. Even kids whose parents are making well into the upper middle bracket are going to benefit, because in this period of economic inflation, everyone could see a little extra support. A rising tide lifts all boats. Less debt burdens means more money will flow back into the economy. It means that more people will be able to go back to school and finish their degrees. Bolstering our education system and reducing debt will ultimately leave us with more and more highly educated Americans. And isn't that a wonderful thing? If we want to be able to compete with Russia or China or any other world superpower, we first and foremost need educated individuals in this country. Education is a gift that keeps giving. It will vastly benefit us in the long term. So this type of rhetoric the right is pushing is nonsense. All I can say is be selfless for once. It helps us all in the end, and that's a fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.